In the first video I said social workers are normally there to help and can be immensely helpful when you have an injury, or anytime you are having a tough time. I do want to talk about how that can be different when your child has an injury. If you take your child to the doctor or hospital for an injury from something that was not an obvious traumatic event like a car collision, you may notice suspicion. Doctors are trained to consider possibilities to protect those who are vulnerable. Several different hospital staff may ask you or your child repeatedly what happened and even want to talk to the child without you there. It feels awful to be under suspicion falsely, but getting upset or emotional will not help. Try to remain calm and positive. Both for your child, and because those who are watching you will see what kind of a parent you really are. In the US, when a social worker, investigator, or caseworker shows up from your state child or family protective office, they can offer resources. But usually they are there primarily to make sure there's not neglect or abuse. Again, you don't normally need to fear them still, but you do need to be aware. So let's talk about why and when to cooperate, or not cooperate, your rights, and worst-case scenario. These workers are often fresh out of university and under supervision, with a large caseload. It's okay to talk to them if you choose. Most are just trying to do a job and protect children. Your side of the story may clear you from being considered a suspect, clear up any misunderstanding, and help them do their jobs or close the case faster. The protocols you may agree are good and necessary to protect children, but they feel outrageous and obnoxious when you are the innocent subject of it all. However, you do not have to talk to them at all, and anything you do say can be used as evidence. In some circumstances, it may be best to say nothing at all. Many official reports and court documents really don't accurately record what was said or what happened anyway. Too often one fallible human being writes or rewrites history and it's taken as truth and things can get out of hand. Our founding fathers knew what they were talking about when they tried to protect Americans from the government. Because of that, you do not have to let CPS or the police into your home without a warrant, a court order signed by a judge. They may personally believe you are hiding something if you don't talk, but you have every right, and not talking is not evidence of guilt in court. Be aware though, that they have the right to keep investigating even if you don't talk to them. They can talk to your child without your knowledge or consent in school, daycare, or at a hospital. If they think there's a reason, they can seek court orders or involve law enforcement. They may put on a front of extra friendliness and helpfulness just to get you to talk to them, but don't mistake that for being harmless. When dealing with people, it's always possible for personal lives and bias to come into play. The investigator may just not like you, or be in the wrong line of work for them. They may twist everything you say. It is possible for it to quickly escalate. If you cooperate, you can always stop cooperating if things take a wrong turn. If they are having bad attitudes, accusing you, mistreating you in any way, I would refuse them at that point, and consider whether you need legal representation. What's the worst that can happen? You may have seen in the news where state protective offices are under fire for being either overprotective, or underprotective. Underprotective is when they repeatedly ignored or did not act upon reports and evidence and a child was harmed. This can cause them to be overprotective on other cases. Sometimes an abuser knows their rights and has vicious legal representation, or parents are in court for child custody, or there's not a huge amounts of solid evidence that they think they can get a judge to respond to. And whatever other politics are actually happening we don't know about. Unfortunately, sometimes overprotective actions are taken for a child with injuries not caused by neglect or abuse. One cause is that the injuries are not believable. You and the child can be honest, but if the injuries are not likely to happen that way, more severe than normal, or there have been multiple questionable injuries in the past, you are more likely to be investigated. This is a concern if your child has fragility, failure to thrive, dislocations, or osteopenia, from conditions like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome or osteogenesis imperfecta. If they have a report, they have to investigate it, but most of the time they won't find any good reason to keep talking to you. It's one reason why it can be helpful to get diagnosed and have it on file with the pediatrician's office. Don't expect investigators to know or understand any conditions, or to take your word for it. It may help to print a copy of genetic testing, and the conditions or diagnosis page from the pediatrician's portal to show anyone who seems suspicious in an attempt to prevent it from getting worse. Once they start overreacting, it can be hard to disengage them, so try to put an end to it early and move on to focusing on the care of your child. I hope this was helpful. As always, take care.